Dear beloved friend, the world is still quiet. The sky has not yet fully turned blue, and a gentle light is brushing against the horizon. Morning dew glistens like small miracles on the grass, and everything feels suspended soft, sacred, and open. This is the most holy time of day, a hidden hour before the noise begins, before responsibilities rush in, before we put on the face we show to the world. It is the hour where the soul can breathe, where stillness becomes sanctuary, and where your heart can finally whisper what it has been carrying all along. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting at the edge of their bed, staring at the floor with tired eyes. Last night, they barely slept. Their chest aches not from illness, but from sorrow. They have lost someone dear, and the silence in the house now feels too loud to bear. Every creak in the hallway reminds them of absence. They do not know how to take the next step. There are tears they have not cried yet, and pain they have not dared to name. Grief has a way of clouding even the brightest mornings. And yet, the sun still rises, quietly, without asking for permission. It keeps showing up like hope that refuses to give up. Maybe for you, it is not grief but fear. Maybe your fear shows up in different shapes. The fear of not having enough. The fear of being alone. The fear that you have made too many mistakes. Or that the weight you carry will break you. Maybe you wake up each morning with 1,000 worries already sitting beside you before your feet touch the floor. The kind of fear that lingers and steals your breath when no one else is looking. If that is you, this moment is for you. This moment is for anyone who has ever felt lost before the day even began. For those who are wary but still hopeful. For those who want to believe but are not sure how. And for those who simply need a quiet place to fall apart before they gather themselves again. You are not alone. There is a place for your pain. Your questions, your doubts, and it is not far away. It is right here, in this stillness, where the soul begins to speak and God begins to answer. Prayer is not about perfect words or polished thoughts. It is about honesty. It is about reaching for something greater when your own strength has run dry. It is about opening your hands when you have nothing left to hold. In prayer, we bring what is real, our mess, our fear, our longing, and we place it in the hands of the one who already knows, already sees, and already loves. Faith does not always feel strong. Sometimes it feels like a whisper in the dark, a fragile thread we cling to when the wind is strong. But even a small thread, when it is connected to heaven, it becomes unbreakable. Prayer is how we hold on. It is how we remember who we are and who God is. It is how we turn the page on a new day, not with dread, but with quiet trust that no matter what comes, we will not face it alone. This morning, you are invited into that space, not to perform, not to impress, but to simply come as you are. Over the next few moments, we will walk together through a journey of prayer, a series of 24 heartfelt chapters designed to carry your spirit from the very first light of day into the fullness of divine connection. Each chapter speaks to a different part of your soul, your fears, your longings, your wounds, your hopes, and through it all, you will be reminded of one simple, powerful truth: God is near. He listens, He cares, and He responds. So, wherever you are, on a quiet porch, in a crowded apartment, in your car before work, or beneath your blankets unable to rise, know that this is your sacred moment. Take a breath. Let your heart soften. The day has begun, and with it, a new invitation has been offered. Step into it. Let this be more than a ritual. Let it be a conversation. Let it be a homecoming. Let it be a morning unlike any other, a morning where your soul wakes up too. Are you ready? Let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning, as light begins to press gently through the curtains and the world still rests in quiet, I come to you. I do not come with answers. I come with questions. I do not come with strength. I come with need. The first breath of the day rises in my chest, and I offer it to you, not because I am ready, but because I know you are. You are already awake, already present, already holding what I do not yet understand. I do not want to begin this day alone. I cannot. Before my feet touch the ground, before I move into the rhythm of routine, I choose this pause. I choose to begin with you. My mind is still foggy, my heart still tender. There are concerns waiting just beyond this moment, responsibilities, decisions, unknowns, but right here, right now, I choose stillness. I choose surrender. I choose to say that this day does not belong to worry. It belongs to you. I am waking not only from sleep, but from the scattered thoughts of yesterday, from the regrets that try to follow me, from the fear that greets me too soon, from the weight I carry even before the sun fully rises. And yet, in the softness of this early hour, I sense your invitation, an invitation to begin again, an invitation to open my heart without fear of rejection, an invitation to believe that you are near, even when I do not yet feel it. So I come, not with a polished prayer, but with a real one. I bring the undone parts of me, the quiet sadness I did not name yesterday, the worry that sits like a stone in my stomach, the uncertainty that makes my steps hesitant. I bring the questions that do not have neat answers. I bring the hope that maybe, just maybe, today will be different, not because the world will change, but because I will choose to walk through it with you. I give you this first breath, this first glance at the sky, this first whisper from my soul. Let it reach you, not because it is eloquent, but because it is honest. Meet me here. I do not ask for fireworks. I ask for presence. I ask to feel you in the ordinary, in the mundane, in the unnoticed places of the day. I ask to recognize your voice before I recognize the noise of the world. I ask to walk slowly enough to hear you when you speak. Lead me before I lead myself. Speak before the world speaks louder. Fill me before I try to pour into anyone else. I cannot give what I have not received. I cannot shine with light I have not absorbed. I cannot love well if I do not sit in love first. So I sit now. I wait. I open. And I ask, let this morning be more than a beginning. Let it be a returning. Let it be a homecoming to the truth I keep forgetting, that I am yours, and you are here, that I am not forgotten, that I am not expected to carry it all, that I am seen even before I lift my eyes. You know what this day holds. You know what I fear and what I long for. You know what I will face before I do. So I release my tight grip. I release the story I am trying to write on my own. I release the urge to control what was never mine to begin with. I release the idea that I have to do this alone. Meet me in the small things today, in the sip of coffee, in the silence of a parked car, in the pause between conversations, in the breath I take before speaking. Remind me again and again that every moment is a place where heaven can touch earth, that you are not distant. You are not waiting until I get it right. You are here now, in this morning, in this breath, in this fragile, beautiful beginning. I need you more than I want to admit. I need direction where I feel lost. I need gentleness where I am harsh. I need patience where I am tired. I need joy where I have become numb. I need courage where I have grown small. And I need peace in the places that never seem to settle. You are the answer to all of it, not just in theory, but in the living, breathing reality of this day. So I come again, not as a stranger, but as a child. Walk with me into this day. Whisper when I rush. Hold me when I tremble. Strengthen me when I falter. And above all, stay near, not just because I ask, but because you promised. And you never break a promise. This is not just the start of a new day. It is the renewal of my heart. The first step into a story you are still writing. Let me live it aware of you, aligned with you, surrendered to you. I do not ask for ease. I ask for you, and that will always be enough. Father, you are here, and that changes everything. I feel it now, not in thunder or fire, but in a quiet awareness that grows as the morning deepens. I just told you how much I need you. I confessed my tiredness, my fear, my empty hands. But now that I have sat with you in stillness, something in me wants to rise, not in pride, not in performance, but in praise. It feels like the most honest thing I can give you this morning, not because everything is perfect, but because you are. You are the one who never slumbers. While I slept, you kept watch. While my mind wandered, your attention never drifted. While the world spun into its chaos, you stayed steady. And now that the sun begins its slow ascent, I lift my heart with it, not because of what this day holds, because of who you are in it. Before I face the demands ahead, before I move toward anyone else, I want to move toward you in wonder. It amazes me that you welcome my praise, even when it comes from lips still waking and a heart still sore. But that is who you are. You never turn away the halting voice or the trembling soul. You delight in the voice that cracks with emotion, the whispered gratitude, the song that stirs even when the world is quiet. You are not looking for perfect harmony. You are listening for truth. And my truth is this: you are worthy. Even here. Even now. So I begin not with what I lack, but with what I see. I see your goodness in the sky stretching wide without end. I see your kindness in the breath I barely notice. I see your beauty in the subtle light that reaches through the shadows without asking permission. You paint each morning new, not because you have to, but because you love to. You are not a distant artist working in cold silence. You are the creator who speaks beauty into being every single day and then invites me to witness it. You are faithful. That is a word I do not say lightly. In a world where so many things change, where so many promises fall short, where so many hearts waver, yours remains constant. You do not grow tired of loving. You do not withhold your presence when I forget to ask. You are not moody or distant or calculating. You are near. You are kind. You are good. Even when life is not, you are God. And you have not forgotten me. I praise you not only for what you do, but for who you are. I praise you for being love when I am full of fear. I praise you for being peace when my thoughts turn restless. I praise you for being joy that cannot be taken. I praise you for being light in every darkness, truth in every confusion, and mercy in every failure. You are the steady ground beneath my shifting emotions. You are the unshakable center of my fragile morning. Father, I do not want to rush past praise today. It is so easy to jump to requests, to bring my long list of needs and worries. But before I say another word about what I hope you will do, I want to simply tell you who you are to me. You are my refuge. You are the place I run when the world gets loud. You are the voice I long to hear when everything else becomes noise. You are the calm that stills my racing thoughts, the shelter that covers me when the winds pick up again. You are the beginning and the end. Nothing catches you off guard. Nothing surprises you, not even me. You know all my days and still call me by name. You know every failure I try to hide and still call me beloved. You know every motive I barely admit to myself and still move toward me with kindness. You do not shame me into change. You love me into transformation. Even when I feel far, you are not. Even when I question, you remain. Even when I stumble through another day of doubt or distraction, your faithfulness wraps around me like morning light, wrapping the cold earth. And that alone is enough to make me stop and say, thank you not as routine, but as revelation. So thank you, Father, for this breath. Thank you for the softness of a new beginning. Thank you for every unseen mercy you gave me yesterday, and every fresh one waiting for me now. Thank you for being more patient than I am persistent. Thank you for being more present than I am aware. Thank you for never giving up, even when I give in. I praise you because you are worthy, not because I am worthy to speak. I praise you because you are holy, not because I am whole. I praise you because your love stretches farther than my sin. Your grace rises higher than my weakness, and your truth stands firmer than my fear. You are the one who holds it all, who sees it all, who loves through it all. And as this day opens, as my calendar fills and my tasks unfold, I want praise to be the thread that runs through it all, not as an afterthought, but as a foundation, not as a moment, but as a melody that hums quietly in the background of every conversation, every decision, every breath. Let the words I speak reflect the God I worship. Let the way I carry myself reflect the one who carries me. Teach me to notice beauty, to pause in gratitude, to lift my eyes even when the world pulls me down. Let praise become instinct, not effort. Let it rise naturally, like breath, like sunrise, like the quiet yes that my heart wants to speak every time I remember who you are. Not because life is easy, but because you are worthy in all things. Let this be my first word today. Before complaint, before worry, before noise, let it be praise. Let that praise make space in me for you to move, for you to speak, for you to remind me again that you are here and you are good. Father, if praise is the first word, then mercy must be the second. After lifting my eyes to see who you are, I cannot help but lower my gaze again to see who I am. Not with shame, but with honesty. I stand here, held by your love, and realize how much I still need it. The truth is, I do not deserve this morning. I do not earn this breath. I have not always walked in light or spoken in kindness. And yet, here it is this day, this quiet chance to begin again. You said your mercies are new every morning. Not recycled, not faded, new, fresh, undiluted. I do not fully understand how you do it, how you see all that I am and still choose to give again. But I receive it now, like rain on dry ground. I let it fall over my thoughts, over my memories, over my weary spirit. I let it reach into the cracks where regret tries to root itself. I let it wash over places I have stopped believing could change. Father, yesterday holds things I wish I could undo. Words I said too quickly, opportunities I ignored, thoughts I fed that led me nowhere good. I cannot rewrite what has already been lived, but I can bring it to you, not to be hidden, but to be healed. I open my hands and name them, those small failures that try to linger, those quiet habits I meant to surrender but still held on to. I do not bring them to justify, only to release. You are not surprised by what I bring. You are not disappointed like I often fear. You are not keeping score. You are opening your arms. And in that embrace, I feel something shift, not just forgiveness, but invitation, not just pardon, but permission to walk forward unchained, to move into this day with the lightness of someone set free. That is what mercy does. It does not erase the past. It transforms the future. So I step into today not as someone who has to make up for yesterday, but as someone who gets to live from grace. That changes everything. It changes how I speak to myself when I fail. It changes how I speak to others when they do. It changes how I carry the moments that do not go as planned. I am no longer a prisoner to what I was. I am a participant in what you are doing next. Father, thank you for making space for me to begin again, not just once, but every morning. Even now, thank you for being more patient than I am persistent in my mistakes. Thank you for not giving up when I fall short. Thank you for not demanding perfection, but simply presence. You want me here, just as I am. That still undoes me in the best possible way. Help me walk in the truth that I am not defined by yesterday's patterns, that I do not have to carry the labels others have placed on me or the ones I have given myself, that I do not have to stay stuck in stories of failure, that I am free not because I try harder, but because you love deeper. Your mercy tells me I can grow, I can heal, I can become more than what I fear I am. Today is not a test, it is a gift, and I do not want to waste it trying to prove I am worthy of it. I want to live it with open hands and a heart that remembers mercy every step of the way. I want to remember that my worth was never based on performance. It was always grounded in your love. That is why I can stand up again. That is why I can move forward without fear. That is why I can forgive myself when I fall. And Father, help me give to others what I am receiving now. Let me be a person who makes room for others to begin again. Let me look at them the way you look at me, with tenderness instead of judgment, with hope instead of cynicism, with grace that surprises them. The mercy you pour into me is not meant to stay. It is meant to overflow. So let it flow freely through my words, through my patience, through my posture toward every person I meet today. If someone fails me, let me remember how you respond when I fail. If someone disappoints me, let me think of how you stay close when I disappoint you. If someone is hard to love, let me recall how you never held back love from me. Let mercy not be a concept, but a daily practice. Let it be the way I live, not just the way I am saved. Father, I know I will still make mistakes today. I will still speak too fast or hold too tight or miss what matters most. But when I do, remind me quickly that mercy is still here, that I do not have to spiral, that I do not have to hide, that I do not have to pretend. I only need to return over and over, and each return is welcome. You are not tired of forgiving me. That truth is hard to hold, but I want to believe it more each day. I want to believe that you are not keeping a tally. You are extending a hand. You are not waiting for me to get it all right before you draw close. You draw close so that I can walk in the light again. So I take that hand now. I take the next step. I start fresh, because you say I can. Thank you for new mercies that do not wait until I feel ready. They come with the morning, whether I feel deserving or not. They are here. I choose to receive them. I choose to believe they are for me. I choose to walk in them, slowly but surely. I choose to live like someone who has been given another chance, not with pressure, but with peace. And if today is hard, if I stumble again, I know now that even tomorrow holds more mercy. So I will not fear what is ahead. I will live this day awake to grace, alive to hope, and anchored in the kindness of a Father who never runs out of love. Father, mercy welcomes me again today, and I do not take that lightly. You have given me room to begin anew, and I carry that gift carefully into this moment. But beginning again also means being honest with where I truly stand. If I want to walk in freedom, I have to first acknowledge what still holds me. So here I am again, not hiding, not filtering, just standing before you with open hands and a heart that longs to be known and made whole. There are parts of me I would rather keep tucked away, thoughts I never say out loud, habits I excuse but never confront, and insecurities I pretend do not exist. I want to bring those to you now, not because I think you will scold me, but because I trust you to meet me with grace. You are not afraid of my truth. You do not flinch at my weakness. You do not draw back when I come undone. Instead, you lean in with love. Father, there are things I have done that I regret. There are things I have left undone that I know I should have faced. There are people I have hurt, some intentionally, some carelessly, and there are places in my heart where bitterness still lingers. Even when I wish it did not, I lay it all before you, not in shame, but in surrender. I do not want to carry guilt through this day like a secret weight. I do not want to pretend I am okay when my spirit is restless. I want to be free. I want to be clean. So search me, not with harshness, but with holy love. Show me the places where pride has taken root. Show me the thoughts that lead me away from peace. Show me the behaviors that mask fear instead of revealing trust. Show me where I have held on to control so tightly that I have squeezed out joy. I do not want to keep guarding walls you are asking me to let fall. I do not want to keep numbing pain you are ready to heal. I want to give you full access, even to the parts of me I have not known how to name. You already know everything I try to hide. And still, you stay. Still, you call me by name. Still, you invite me closer. That is what makes surrender holy. It is not giving up in defeat. It is laying down what was never meant to be carried alone. It is recognizing that you are not asking for perfection. You are asking for presence. You want my honesty, not my performance. Father, I have spent so much energy trying to hold things together, trying to manage everything, fix everything, predict everything. But I am not strong enough for that, and you never asked me to be. I am tired of pretending that I am. I am tired of fighting battles you already won. I am tired of praying with conditions and trusting with caveats. I want to lay it all down now, every fear, every plan, every self-made solution. Take my need to prove myself. Take my desire to control outcomes. Take my fear of disappointment and my fear of being disappointed. Take my timelines, my expectations, my should have been and what if. I surrender what I do not understand. I surrender what I still long for. I surrender what is not healed yet. I surrender the tension between hope and hurt. And in that surrender, I breathe a little deeper. You are not asking me to stop caring. You are asking me to stop carrying what was never mine to hold alone. I am not surrendering to defeat. I am surrendering to love, to the kind of love that holds my questions with tenderness, to the kind of love that steps into chaos and brings quiet, to the kind of love that does not rush me, but walks with me, one moment at a time. So, Father, I give you my mind, the thoughts that spiral, the doubts that linger, the distractions that steal my peace. Help me take every thought captive. Help me fill my mind with what is true and pure and lovely. I give you my heart, the feelings I do not always understand, the hurts that have not faded, the longings I cannot shake. Shape my heart so it beats with compassion, with clarity, with courage. I give you my body, every place that feels tired or tense, every ache I have ignored, every restless night and weary morning. Be my strength, be my rest, be the healing I wait for. And I give you my voice. Let my words carry life. Let my silence be wise. Let my tone be gentle even when my patience is thin. Let me speak only what builds up and honors you. Father, this surrender is not just a one-time act. It is a rhythm, a heartbeat, a holy returning again and again. So when I find myself picking up what I just laid down, when I catch myself reaching for control again, gently remind me this is not mine to carry. Remind me that surrender is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It is trust that is deeper than fear. It is love that is greater than pride. Thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for not demanding a polished version of me. Thank you for meeting me here, where I am still learning how to let go. You are patient. You are kind. You are safe. And because of that, I can keep surrendering, not with anxiety, but with trust, not with hesitation, but with relief. Because you are the one who takes broken things and makes them beautiful. You are the one who takes control from my hands and replaces it with peace. This morning, I surrender again. And I will keep surrendering, not because I have to, but because I want to. Because every time I do, I find you waiting. And in your presence, nothing is wasted, nothing is too far gone, and nothing is beyond the reach of grace. Father, I have surrendered what I could not carry, and in doing so, I feel something lighter within me, as if the silence left behind by all that weight is now making room for something deeper, something you have been waiting to speak. I am listening now. Really listening, not just with my ears, but with the space in me that finally quieted down. I have come to realize that letting go is only the beginning. The next step is learning how to follow. Sometimes I wish you would shout. I wish your direction would come like thunder, clear and unmistakable. But most days, it comes in a whisper, a nudge, a pause that holds meaning. I used to think you were silent, but I am starting to believe you are just subtle. You do not force. You invite. You do not demand. You guide. And I want to be the kind of person who moves at the sound of your voice, even when it is quiet. So, Father, as this day unfolds, I ask for your guidance, not just in the big moments that everyone sees, but in the small ones that shape the whole day. The tone I choose when I speak, the patience I extend when I am pressed, the courage to say yes to something inconvenient, or the wisdom to say no to what looks good but is not right. Help me notice those moments. Help me recognize when you are leading me, even when it does not look like what I expected. Guide my thoughts. There are so many paths my mind can take before breakfast is even over. The stories I replay, the assumptions I make, the worries I feed. Father, redirect every wandering thought. Let my inner world align with your peace, not my anxiety. Let the voice I follow be yours, not fear, not pressure, not the echo of old wounds. Yours alone. Guide my decisions. Some choices today may seem simple, but I know even small steps can shape a direction. Help me be intentional, Help me slow down long enough to ask you what is wise, not just what is fast. I do not want to be led by urgency or impulse. I want to be led by love. I want to make decisions that carry peace into the room, not tension. Choices that leave space for you to move. Guide my actions. Let what I do reflect who I follow. Whether it is the way I show up for work, how I handle interruptions, or how I treat the person right in front of me, let it all carry the imprint of grace. Let me be someone who notices what others overlook, someone who moves in kindness before convenience, someone who chooses integrity even when no one's watching. These are not loud actions, but they are real, and they matter. Guide my words. Help me speak life today. Help me listen more than I interrupt. Help me speak truth, not out of pride, but from love. Let the words I choose build bridges, not walls. Let them carry healing, not harm. I do not want to be reckless with something so powerful. Let my voice echo your heart, especially when the world grows loud and opinions fly faster than compassion. And Father, if I do not know which way to go, if the path feels unclear, let confusion be my cue to pause. Not panic. Let me lean in instead of rushing out. Teach me to sit in the unknowing with trust that clarity will come. Teach me to wait for your voice, not just chase after noise that pretends to be direction. If you say stay, I will stay. If you say go, I will go. But if you say wait, help me wait with purpose, not frustration. Guide me away from distraction. There are so many things that pull at my attention, so many screens, so many notifications, so many ideas that promise meaning but deliver emptiness. Let me return again and again to what truly matters, to love, to presence, to the simplicity of being with you in the now, not trying to be everywhere at once. Just here, just steady, just open to what you are doing in this moment. Father, I know your guidance is not always about avoiding difficulty. Sometimes, you lead me right through it. But if you are in it, then I want to be shaken. I do not ask for the path to be easy. I ask for it to be clear. And if not clear, then confirmed by peace. Because even when I do not know exactly what is next, I know you are good. And that is the kind of certainty I want to live, from not certainty about outcomes, but about your character. I also ask for sensitivity to your correction. If I begin to stray, speak to me. If I start chasing what looks right but is not good, pull me back, not in fear, but in love, not in shame, but in clarity. Help me see what I could not on my own. Help me have the humility to turn around, to change direction, to admit when I have missed it. That, too, is guidance, and I welcome it. Sometimes I wonder how many gentle directions I have missed because I was too focused on my own plan. But this morning, I choose something better. I choose to listen first, to move slowly, to tune my heart to the rhythm of yours. I do not want to just ask for your will, I want to follow it. Even when it is inconvenient, even when it interrupts my comfort. Your way is always better, always truer, always leading toward something more lasting than anything I could build for myself. So walk with me today. Father, whisper when I am rushing, my shoulder when I need to turn. Speak through people, through scripture, through creation, through silence. Let no moment be too ordinary to be sacred. Let no decision be too small to include you. I want this day to be a path I walk with intention, not just survival. And I trust that every time I listen, I will find you already there, leading the way I should go. Father, if every step I take today is to be guided by you, then this moment right here, right now is where that path begins. I do not want to drift into my day, reacting to whatever comes and hoping I find peace along the way. I want to start with purpose, with intention, with the quiet courage to plant what matters before the noise begins. I believe this morning is not just the start of another routine. It is soil, and what I plant here will grow. I know the world rushes. It tells me to move quickly, to stay busy, to fill every moment before it can settle. But you are not in the rush. You are in the rhythm. And if I want to hear you, if I want to walk with you, I have to slow down enough to plant seeds that will last longer than the hurry. I want to be someone who lives from roots, not from reaction. So, Father, help me choose my seeds wisely today. Not every thought is worth watering. Not every habit deserves space in the garden of my soul. I want to plant what leads to peace, what leads to love, what reflects you when no one's watching. The world sees the fruit, but you see the planting. And this morning, I choose to start deep in the soil, where no one else may notice, but where everything begins. Help me plant patience in the places I am tempted to rush. Let that patience grow slowly, shaping how I speak, how I respond, how I wait when answers feel delayed. Let it soften the sharp edges of my hurry and help me be present in each moment, not pushing ahead to the next. Help me plant kindness where it is least expected, not just when it is easy, but when it is undeserved. When someone is short with me, when the day feels heavy, when frustration wants to take the lead, let kindness be the instinct that grows, because I have planted it often enough for it to feel natural. Let it be the fruit that others taste and recognize as yours. Help me plant discipline where I have grown tired, not out of guilt, but out of love. Help me set rhythms that support who you are shaping me to be. Show me the quiet, faithful choices that build something strong beneath the surface. The morning habits, the prayers no one hears, the decisions I make when I am alone. These are the roots, and I want them deep. Help me plant grace when I fail. Let me not be harsh with myself. Let me not uproot what is growing just because it is not blooming yet. Help me speak gently to my process. Help me trust that growth often looks like waiting, and that buried does not mean forgotten. You are the God of slow miracles, and I want to be patient enough to see them unfold. Help me plant hope in the places that feel barren, in the parts of my life where nothing seems to change, in the relationships that feel strained, in the dreams that still feel far away. Let hope be the seed I dare to bury again, even if I have buried it before, even if it has taken longer than I imagined. even if I do not see the first sprout for a while, because you are the God who brings life from dust, and nothing planted in you returns void. Father, I also know that weeds grow when I am not looking. Fear, resentment, jealousy, comparison. Help me be vigilant, not anxious, but attentive. Show me where lies have taken root in my thinking. Show me where I have allowed negativity to spread. Teach me to pull those weeds gently but firmly, naming them for what they are and refusing to let them crowd out what is good. Let my heart become a place where truth has space to grow. This day, like a field, will only grow what is sound. If I plant distraction, I will harvest restlessness. If I plant complaint, I will gather discontent. But if I plant gratitude, I will find joy. If I plant truth, I will stand firm. If I plant your word, I will not wither when storms come. So help me guard the gates of my heart and choose with care what I allow in. Every moment is a seed, and I want to be a faithful gardener. Father, thank you for giving me this morning. Thank you for the reminder the beginning of the day holds more than just time. It holds potential. I do not want to waste it scrolling through meaningless noise or rushing toward tasks that cannot satisfy. I want to anchor my soul before the world tries to pull me in every direction. And I know this anchoring begins here. With you, help me see each person I encounter today as soil too, a place to scatter kindness, patience, forgiveness, not because I expect something in return, but because that is what love does. Let my presence plant peace. Let my words plant truth. Let my actions plant trust. Let the way I move through this day leave behind something better than what I found. Remind me that not every seed will bloom today. Some things I sow now will take weeks, months, maybe years to bear fruit. But I trust the process. I trust the slowness. I trust that you are working even when I see nothing but dirt. Faith is often grown underground, and I want to keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. Because you are not rushed, and your timing never fails. Father, let the seeds I plant this morning shape how I carry the afternoon. Let them steady me when the day grows loud. Let them remind me that how I begin matters. And if the day goes off track, help me return to these early choices, to the quiet soil where it all started, and begin again with you. Father, you have reminded me that every seed I plant shapes what will grow, and I want to carry that truth into every part of this day. But as I begin to move forward, I can already feel fear trying to rise like a shadow. It is subtle at first, a tension in my chest, a question in my mind, a small doubt whispering that maybe I am not ready, not strong enough, not safe. I know this feeling well, and I know it is not from you. So before fear takes root, I bring it to you. You did not give me a spirit of fear. That is what your word says. And yet, fear still knocks at the door so often. It comes dressed in logic sometimes, convincing me it is just caution. It comes through memory, reminding me of the last time things fell apart. It comes in silence, in what-ifs, in headlines, in glances, in thoughts I did not invite. but no matter how it arrives, I do not want to let it stay. I want to name it and then ask you to replace it. Father, today I need courage, not the loud kind that seeks attention, but the quiet kind that stands when it would be easier to run. The kind that moves forward when the outcome is uncertain. The kind that holds peace in one hand and boldness in the other. I know I won't always feel brave, but I believe I can be brave even when fear tries to convince me otherwise. Because courage is not about the absence of fear. It is about refusing to let fear be the loudest voice. Help me face what I do not want to face. Maybe there is a conversation I have been avoiding, a step I have been scared to take, a truth I have not wanted to accept. Give me the strength to walk through it with grace. Not rushing, not forcing, but choosing faith over paralysis. Let me breathe deeply and remind myself that you go before me into every room, every moment, every unknown space. Give me courage to be honest with others, with myself, with you. It is easier to hide behind what is safe, to wear the mask that keeps things tidy. But I want to live free, not filtered. I want to show up fully, even when that means being vulnerable. I want to speak truth gently, even when my voice shakes, because truth spoken in love is how healing begins, and fear loses its grip when honesty enters the room. Give me courage to be still when everything around me says to act fast. Courage to wait on you when impatience presses hard. Courage to trust the process when progress feels invisible. Let me not confuse inactivity with weakness. Let me remember that sometimes courage looks like choosing rest instead of striving, trust instead of control, quiet instead of chaos. Father, there are fears I have lived with for a long time. Some are rooted deep, shaped by wounds I barely talk about. I bring those to you now. I do not want to manage them anymore. I want to heal. I want to believe that you are stronger than anything I dread, that you are kinder than any worst-case scenario, that even if what I fear were to happen, you would still be with me. You would still be good. You would still hold me in ways no fear ever could. I also ask for courage on behalf of those I love. If someone close to me is struggling silently today, give them strength to speak. If they are walking through uncertainty, steady their steps. If they are battling shame or doubt or fear of failure, remind them that they are not alone. Use my presence, my words, my prayers as part of their courage. Let me be someone who strengthens others simply by showing up with compassion. Help me speak courage into the lives I touch today. When someone shares their fear, let me not minimize it. Let me hold space for them. Let me remind them of truth, not with cliché, but with sincerity. Help me be brave enough to say, I do not know what will happen, but I know you are not alone. Help me be the kind of person whose peace makes others breathe easier. And Father, when fear returns later today, as it so often does, let me be ready. Let me recognize its voice for what it is, a thief of joy, a liar of identity, a cloud that tries to block the light. Let me respond not with panic, but with prayer. Let me speak your promises out loud until they are louder than my fear. Let me remember that courage is not something I have to generate on my own. It is something you offer, something you grow in me when I keep showing up. Remind me of all the times I was afraid and you carried me anyway. All the times I did not feel ready, but you showed up with strength. All the moments that once terrified me, but now live in the past as proof of your faithfulness. Let memory become a foundation for courage, not nostalgia, but evidence that you have been good and you will be good again. Father, I do not want to miss what you are doing, because I was too scared to step out. I do not want to shrink back when you are calling me forward. I want to live like someone who trusts that you are already where I am going, that nothing today can surprise you, that every challenge is met with grace, and every fear is met with presence. Let my courage come not from what I see, but from who I know you to be. Let it rise in the quiet spaces of my soul. Let it move through my hands and into my actions. Let it walk beside me like a quiet companion that never leaves. Even if no one else sees it, even if no one else understands, I know you do, and that is enough. This is the kind of courage I want to plant today. The kind that trusts even when the path is dim. The kind that speaks even when the words are hard. The kind that stands tall even when my knees feel weak. The kind that loves anyway. Hopes anyway. Believes anyway. Because you are here, and where you are, fear has no home. Father, courage begins with trust, and trust becomes real when I believe you are not only near, but also guarding every step I take. I do not walk through this day in my own strength. I do not face what is ahead with bare hands. You are my covering, my shield, the one who watches when I cannot see and defends when I do not even know I am under threat. That is what I lean into now, not just courage to face the day, but faith in your protection as I move through it. You do not promise that life will be without trouble, but you do promise that I will never walk through it alone. You do not remove every obstacle, but you stand beside me in every one. You are not a distant protector. You are present. You walk with me. You go before me, and you surround me with a kind of peace the world cannot understand. So I begin this day under your watchful care, asking not only for safety, but also for awareness of your constant presence. Guard my body today from injury, from harm, from anything that would try to steal my energy or limit the work you have called me to do. Cover me in my coming and in my going, as I drive, as I work, as I move through crowds or sit in stillness. Let your protection surround every part of my physical life. You knit this body together. You know its strength and its limits. Keep me well today. Father, keep me steady and strong. Guard my mind. Let no thought take root that is not planted in truth. Keep me from spiraling into worry, from falling into comparison, from drowning in self-doubt. Help me recognize every lie the enemy tries to whisper and meet it with your word. Let peace be the boundary around my thinking. Let wisdom be the filter. Let discernment be the gatekeeper. And when my thoughts begin to wander, draw me back to clarity. Guard my heart. Emotions rise and fall so easily, one moment joy, the next discouragement. But I do not want to be ruled by feelings that shift with circumstances. I want to be anchored in something deeper. In you, let my heart stay soft but not fragile, open but not unguarded. Teach me how to feel without being consumed, how to love deeply without losing balance, how to be compassionate without being overwhelmed. And when disappointment or criticism comes, be the safe place where my heart can rest and reset. Father, I also ask you to guard my relationships today. Protect my interactions with others. Let no word I speak become a weapon. Let no wound I carry spill onto someone else. Keep me mindful of how I treat people, strangers, friends, coworkers, even those who may frustrate me. Let peace flow through my tone, patience through my pace, and kindness through my choices. And protect the people I love, even when I can't be near them. You can, even when I do not know what they need. You do. Place your hand over their lives. Keep them safe in body, in mind, and in spirit. Guide me too, Father, because protection is not only about keeping things away. It is also about being led in the right direction. Show me where to step. Show me where to pause. Show me when to speak and when to hold back. Guide my timing, my responses, my instincts. Let me not just avoid danger, but walk toward purpose. Let me move through this day, not as one afraid of what might happen, but as one confident that I am being led. When I feel uncertain, remind me I do not have to figure it all out. I do not need to map out the entire journey. I only need to take the next faithful step and trust that you are already at the step after that. When I come to a fork in the road, speak clearly when I hesitate. Nudge me when I move too quickly. Slow me with your peace. When I want to run, remind me that your pace is the best pace. And Father, as I go about the motions of this day, help me remember that being protected does not mean I live in fear. It means I live with confidence. It means I carry peace even into chaos. It means I do not need to scan every room for threats, because I believe you are already present. It means I can walk boldly, not recklessly, but securely, because I am held. If I encounter conflict today, guide my words. If I face pressure, guide my reactions. If I walk into places where others are anxious or afraid, let me carry something different. Let me be a presence of calm. Let me carry with me the awareness that I am covered, that nothing gets to me without passing through you first, that even the hard moments are not outside your sight or care. Let your protection not just be a wall around me, but a presence within me. Let it shape how I carry myself, not with arrogance, but with quiet strength. Let it remind me that I am never truly vulnerable when I am in your hands, even when I feel exposed, even when I feel small. I am protected by something greater than anything this world can bring against me. Thank you, Father, for being both my refuge and my guide. Thank you that I do not have to choose between being careful and being bold. In you, I can be both. I can move with wisdom, led by love, and held by something stronger than fear. You are not only with me in the stillness of morning, but in the noise of midday and the weariness of night. Your protection does not clock out. Your presence does not waver. So wherever I walk today, through sunlight or shadows, through simplicity or struggle, I choose to walk knowing I am covered. I choose to remember that I am never outside the reach of your hand. I choose to move forward, not because the way is easy, but because you are faithful. I may not know what this day will bring, but I know who holds it, and that is more than enough. Father, knowing that you guard and guide me gives me the confidence to step into the responsibilities of today. But confidence alone is not enough. I also need strength. Not the kind that rushes through the day with clenched fists and tight shoulders, but the kind that moves with steady purpose and quiet grace. I need strength that sustains, not strength that exhausts. I need rest that restores. Even as I move through the demands of work, this day is full. It holds tasks, decisions, expectations, and conversations. It stretches across hours that will ask something of me mentally, emotionally, physically. Some of what waits for me, I am ready for. Some of it feels like too much. That is why I begin this portion of the morning, not by making a list, but by lifting my hands. I offer this work to you, not just as obligation, but as worship, not just as something to get through, but as something you can work through. Father, give me strength for what must be done. Let it not come from pressure or fear, but from a place of being rooted in you. Let my energy flow from rest, not anxiety. Let my motivation come from meaning, not approval. Let the work of my hands carry purpose, even if it goes unnoticed. Remind me that what is done with love is never small in your eyes. Help me to be focused without being frantic. Help me to give my best without giving beyond what is healthy. Help me to show up fully without being consumed by the idea that I must do it all. And when interruptions come, because they always do, help me welcome them with grace instead of frustration. Let me hold space for others, even in the middle of deadlines. Let me remember that people matter more than productivity. Give me strength to stay present. When the temptation is to rush ahead or tune out, help me to remain engaged. Let me work with integrity, even when no one is watching. Let me respond with patience, even when things do not go as planned. Let me lead with humility, follow with joy, and serve with consistency. I do not want to just complete tasks. I want to carry peace into every task I touch. And in the middle of it all, Father, teach me how to rest, not just at the end of the day when I am worn out, but throughout the day in small moments where I can breathe again, reset again, remember again. Let me find pauses where I did not expect them. Let me honor those pauses instead of filling them. Let me trust that stepping back for a moment make everything fall apart. You hold the world. I do not have to. Help me release the weight of perfection. Help me resist the urge to measure the day by how much I accomplish. Let me instead measure it by how I show up with kindness, with honesty, with faithfulness. Let me be aware of my limits, not as failure, but as invitation to draw on your strength, not just my own. And when I begin to feel worn, Let that be the signal to lean in, not push through. Father, I also ask for wisdom as I move through the tension between doing and being. I do not want my identity to get wrapped in what I produce. I want to stay grounded in who I am, your child, loved before I perform, seen before I succeed, held before I prove anything. Let my soul remain intact even as my calendar fills. Let my inner world be spacious even when my schedule is tight. Help me protect what matters. Guard the quiet parts of me that do not show up on a to-do list. Let me still laugh today. Let me still listen without rushing. Let me pause long enough to notice the sky or a stranger's smile or the way grace shows up in ordinary places. Let this day become a blur of tasks. Let it be a collection of sacred moments where I lived awake, alive, and aware of you. If there is work today that feels meaningless, give me vision to see how it matters. If there is work that feels heavy, give me support I did not expect. If there is work that stretches me, give me courage to grow without fear. And if there is work I need to let go of because it is not mine to carry, show me how to release it with peace. Give me discernment for my pace, when to push, when to pause, when to say yes and when to say no. Let me not confuse business with purpose or exhaustion with success. Let me choose the kind of strength that is sustainable, the kind of strength that makes room for joy, the kind of strength that keeps me tender, not hardened. Father, I know there will be moments today when I will need to reset. Remind me that I do not have to wait until I have hit a wall to return to you. Let me come back in the middle of the meeting, in the quiet of the elevator, in the car ride between errands. Let every moment be a potential sanctuary. Every breath a reminder that rest is not just physical, it is spiritual. And you are my rest. When this day ends, I do not want to collapse. I want to be able to exhale. Not because I made it through, but because I walked with you through every part of it. Because I did not carry the burden alone. Because I did not lose myself in the work. Because I stayed rooted in love while moving through everything else. Thank you for the strength that comes from abiding, not striving. Thank you for the rest that is available even in motion. Thank you that I do not have to prove my worth through what I do. It is already secure in who you are, so I move forward now, not rushed, not pressured, not drained, but ready, because you are with me, and that is more than enough for whatever this day may hold. Father, after asking for strength to do the work ahead and rest to remain whole within it, I now bring to you something even more powerful than effort, my words. My voice will go with me into every space today. It will fill rooms before my actions catch up. It will shape atmospheres before intentions are understood. So I bring my words to you early, before they leave my lips, before they take flight into a world that often speaks without thinking and wounds without meaning too. You gave language as a gift, a way to bless, to build, to comfort, to connect. And yet, how often I forget that my tongue carries weight, that the simplest sentence can linger in someone's heart long after the moment passes. That tone can speak louder than truth. That silence, when chosen at the wrong time, can do as much harm as careless words. So I pause now, and I ask you to train my mouth before I speak. Father, help me today to choose words that give life, not only to those I love, but also to those who challenge me. Help me not to sharpen my voice like a weapon. Help me not to let sarcasm feel like humor or passive anger sound like restraint. Let my tone be guided by grace, even when I am tired, even when I am frustrated, even when I feel justified to speak with sharpness. Let your gentleness be my guardrail, even when I feel provoked. Help me to speak less when less is better. There are moments when silence is stronger than any reply. Teach me to be slow to speak and quick to listen. Let me not fill space with noise just to feel in control. Let my words carry weight because I have learned to speak with care. Let what I say be purposeful, not performative. Let my voice be rooted in truth, but wrapped in compassion. Father, I ask you to protect the people who will hear my voice today, whether they are friends, coworkers, strangers, or even people I may never see again. May my words leave behind peace, not pressure. May they stir something good, not resentment. May they carry dignity, not damage. And if I miss the mark, if I speak too quickly or too harshly, give me the humility to go back and make it right. Let apology come as easily as opinion. Help me encourage someone today who does not expect it. Let me speak truth to someone who has forgotten theirs. Let me remind someone of their worth without needing a reason or special moment. Let affirmation flow naturally, like water that quenches a thirst I did not know they were carrying. And let none of it be empty flattery. Let it come from love, not from the need to be liked. Let it bless, not impress. And Father, help me guard how I speak to myself. The thoughts I let run unchecked in my mind matter, just as much as what I say out loud. Help me to stop cursing myself with doubt, with shame, with labels that are not mine to wear. Teach me to speak to my soul with honesty, but also with mercy. To be gentle in the places I am still growing. To call out what is good, even if no one else notices. Let my inner dialogue reflect what you say about me. Chosen, loved, held, forgiven, becoming. I do not want to rehearse failure in my mind like a broken record. I want to speak what you have spoken, to repeat what is true, to declare what is eternal, not because it always feels real, but because faith sometimes begins in the mouth before it settles in the heart. Guide me also in when to speak up. Let me not stay quiet when justice needs a voice. Let me not hold back when encouragement could lift a heart. Let me not play small when truth should be spoken kindly, but clearly. Let me use my voice not to dominate, but to dignify. Let me speak up for the silent, speak peace into chaos, and speak calm into fear, not for my glory, but because healing often begins with just one word spoken in love. Father, help me notice the power of pauses, the space between words where meaning often hides. The way timing can change the weight of a sentence. The way presence behind a phrase makes it either a burden or a balm. Help me to slow down enough to notice what others need from my voice, not what I want to say. but what would actually serve them. Let me speak from love, not just about love. And in moments when I have no words, when I do not know what to say or how to help, remind me that silence can be sacred too, that presence without advice is still powerful, that a quiet hand on someone's shoulder, a look of understanding, a breath held together in pain, can carry more healing than any string of sentences ever could. Give me wisdom to know when to speak and when to simply stay. Today, Father, I surrender this tongue of mine. I surrender it before it is tempted to defend, to lash out, to prove, to perform. Let it be used for good. Let it be a tool for peace. Let it be a ribbon of truth in a tangled world. Let it sing when there is beauty to praise. Let it whisper when comfort is needed. Let it remain still when stillness is best. And let it always echo the sound of your kindness. Remind me throughout this day to check in with my words, to catch myself before I speak what I will regret, to hold back when silence would bring more peace, to speak up when truth needs to rise. Let my words be few but full. Let them be wise, not just smart. Let them be rooted, not reactive. And above all, let them be shaped by the one who first spoke life into me. Father, after asking that my words would carry life and healing, I realize something deeper. I need to remember where that life begins. Gratitude is not just a feeling that visits me when life is easy. It is a practice, a choice, a muscle that must be exercised until it grows strong enough to carry me through the weight of ordinary days. So here I am, before this day slips too far, choosing to remember, choosing to give thanks not because everything feels perfect, but because you are present in everything. You have been faithful to me, even when I forgot to see it. So I pause and look back, not to stay in the past, but to gather the goodness I have overlooked. Sometimes I move so quickly through life that forget to notice the miracles in motion all around me, the quiet ones, the hidden ones, the ones that did not feel like miracles until later. But today, I want to see them. I want to say thank you out loud. Thank you for the breath that rose in my chest this morning without effort, for the roof over my head, the bed that held me, the air that filled my lungs while I slept. Thank you for the light that crept into the room and reminded me the world is still spinning, the sun still rises, and grace has come again. These things are not small. They are the foundation of another day of life. Thank you for the people you have placed around me. Whether they are near or far, whether our relationships are close or complicated, I am not walking through this world alone. Thank you for the voices that make me laugh, the ones that challenge me, the ones that see me when I do not feel seen. And thank you even for the people who stretch me, who teach me patience, who reveal the places in me still growing. Every interaction is shaping something in me, and I trust you with all of it. Father, remind me not to take what is familiar for granted, the meals I did not have to worry about, the clean water running from a faucet, the ordinary routine that makes up a day. So many people long for the things I forget to notice. Dante, let me become numb to blessings just because they repeat. Let repetition increase my gratitude, not dull it. Help me to remember the ways you have carried me in the past. When fear was louder than faith, you steadied me. When provision felt impossible, you made a way. When I was lost in sorrow, you met me there. When I doubted everything, you remained. These are not just memories. They are stones of remembrance, markers of where you showed up. And if you did it then, you will do it again. Sometimes gratitude feels distant. Father, especially when pain lingers or questions go unanswered. But even then, I can remember. I can rehearse what I know to be true, that you are good, that you are near, that nothing escapes your notice. Gratitude is not about ignoring the hard things. It is about refusing to let them be the only things I see. Let thanksgiving become the language I speak, even when my heart feels heavy. Let it anchor me when I drift toward complaint. Let it rise in me not because everything makes sense, but because you are with me in the midst of what does not. Let me find something, even one small thing, to give thanks for in every moment, and when I can find it on my own, send someone who will help me see it. Teach me how to turn gratitude into rhythm. Not just a whispered thank you in the morning, but a steady pulse that carries through my hours. In the rush of errands, in the quiet of waiting rooms, in the middle of meetings or meals, let my heart whisper thanks again and again, not because I am pretending life is easy, but because I am choosing to live awake to goodness, even when the world feels dim. Let my gratitude be practical. Let it overflow into how I speak to others, how I show up for them, how I notice what they do and affirm the beauty I see in them. Let it shape how I respond to inconvenience or delay. Let it soften my posture and expand my patience. Let it keep me grounded in truth when my emotions try to pull me somewhere else. And Father, help me to give thanks for myself, not in pride, but in acknowledgement of what you have done in me. Thank you for the growth that has happened quietly, for the healing that is still in process, for the strength I did not know I had until I had to use it, for the tears that taught me compassion and the questions that deepened my trust. I am not where I was, I am becoming, and that is worth gratitude too. Thank you for your presence that does not demand perfection. Thank you for not needing me to have all the right words or get everything right before I come to you. Thank you for meeting me here in this moment, still, calm, and open. Thank you for the grace that keeps showing up in ways I did not ask for and often do not recognize until I look back. And thank you for what is ahead, even the parts I do not yet understand. I trust you are already there. Father, let this be a day shaped by thankfulness. Let it echo through my thoughts. Let it show up in my decisions. Let it overflow from my spirit into every space I enter. And when I forget, because I know I will gently bring me back to this moment, back to this breath, back to the place where gratitude begins again. Father, as gratitude takes root in my heart, it naturally begins to overflow, not just in reflection, but in concern. Once my eyes are open to the blessings I hold, I can help but think of others, those I love, those I live among, those I have never met but whose stories touch me deeply. Gratitude makes room for compassion, and compassion draws me into prayer. So this morning, I come to you not only for myself, but for the people around me, and even for those beyond the borders of my everyday life. You have placed people in my life on purpose, not by accident, not by coincidence. There is design in every connection. So I begin with those closest to my heart, my family. Whether we are tight-knit or stretched across distances, whether our bonds are healthy or healing, you see every thread that holds us together. I lift each one to you now, name by name, soul by soul. Wrap them in your peace today. Strengthen them where they feel weak. Comfort them where they are hurting. Remind them that they are never alone. For the ones I know are struggling emotionally, physically, spiritually, please step into their pain with gentleness. Speak calm into their storms. Meet them in the places I cannot reach. For those who carry silent burdens, hidden from the world, shine light into their shadows. Let them feel seen. Let them feel safe. Let them feel known by you. Father, I lift up my friends, those who walk beside me through laughter and tears, through joy and uncertainty. I thank you for their presence in my life, for the way they reflect pieces of you through their stories, their encouragement, their honesty. Bless their homes today. Bless their decisions, their work, their quiet longings. If any of them are weary, be their strength. If any are facing decisions that feel heavy, be their wisdom. If any are aching for something they cannot name, be their peace. Help me to love them well, not just in words, but in presence. Show me how to carry their burdens without being crushed by them. Give me discernment to know when to speak, when to listen, and when to simply stay near. And remind me that I do not have to fix anyone. I only need to bring them to you again and again, trusting that you care more than I ever could. I also lift to you the people I may cross paths with today, coworkers, neighbors, strangers whose names I do not know, but whose lives matter deeply to you. Help me to move through the world with eyes that see and a heart that responds. Let my compassion not be passive. Let it move me to prayer, to kindness, to action when needed. Let me notice those who are overlooked. Let me remember that every person I pass is a life carrying stories, hopes, fears, and dreams. And Father, I can help think beyond even these circles. There are people suffering in places I have never been, facing war, hunger, displacement, injustice. It is overwhelming at times. The weight of it all feels too heavy for one heart to carry. But you are not overwhelmed. You see every tear. You hear every cry. You are present even in the chaos we cannot comprehend. So I intercede now for those who feel forgotten, for those caught in systems that oppress, for those living in fear, for those praying with what little strength they have left. Be near to them today. Bring relief, rescue, and restoration. Raise up people of compassion, wisdom, and justice to stand in the gap. Let governments act with integrity. Let leaders choose humility. Let communities rise up with empathy and courage. And if I am one of those people, if I am someone you would send into those stories, then show me how to step in with purpose and grace. Teach me how to intercede not just with words, but with willingness. Help me not to grow numb to pain that is not my own. Help me not to scroll past suffering without stopping to pray. Help me remember that intercession is not a last resort, but a holy privilege, that my prayers, small and whispered though they may be, by her a God who moves mountains and softens hearts, a God who heals wounds and rewrites stories, a God who listens and acts. Father, I also pray for unity in my home, in my friendships, in my workplace, in my city, in my world. There is so much division, so much noise, so many reasons to pull apart. But you are the God who gathers, who bridges what has been broken, who binds wounds, not just bodies. Let reconciliation take root where bitterness has grown. Let forgiveness replace pride. Let compassion disarm defensiveness. If there is someone I need to forgive today, show me. If there is someone who needs my apology, give me the humility to offer it. If there is a conversation I have avoided out of fear, give me the courage to begin it. Intercession is not always about praying from afar. Sometimes it means showing up in the very place I have been avoiding. So lead me there, if that is where healing begins. Father, thank you. Thank you for hearing these prayers, for carrying them when I do not have the strength to hold them all at once. Thank you for being the God who listens, not just to my words, but to my heart. Thank you for reminding me that I do not have to pray perfectly for you to understand completely. You know what I mean even when I do not know how to say it. So I lift up my people, my family, my friends, the world, and I place them in your hands. The same hands that formed mountains, that calmed storms, that broke bread and blessed children, are now holding the ones I love. And I trust that you will do more than I could ever ask, imagine, or even understand. Father, after lifting up those I love and those I may never meet, after trusting you to care for the world and the people within it, I turn inward again to the places in me that feel like battlefields. Because intercession, as holy as it is, does not remove the pressure I feel in my own soul. And this morning, I need to tell you the truth. There are lions around me. Some visible, some hidden, some roaring loudly, some crouching quietly in corners of my life I have tried to ignore. I feel their breath near. I hear their growl in the distance. And still, here I stand. It would be easy to pray only for calm, for comfort, for a life free of pressure. But I know you never promised that. You promised presence, not absence of trouble. You promised peace, not avoidance of struggle. So, Father, today I ask for the kind of faith that does not vanish when the lions roar, the kind that holds fast when the heat rises, the kind that stays rooted when everything around me shakes. You see the places where I am being tested. You know the situations pressing on me right now, the decisions I can avoid, the resistance I feel, the criticism I can control, the weight I did not ask to carry. You know how heavy it feels. You know the moments I consider shrinking back. staying silent, running away. But you did not make me to be ruled by fear. You made me to stand in faith, even when the ground beneath me trembles. Remind me of Daniel. Remind me how he chose to keep praying, not because it was safe, but because it was right. He did not let the threat of the lions change the rhythm of his faith. He did not hide or adjust his convictions to stay out of trouble. He opened the windows, faced toward you, and knelt, even knowing the consequences, even hearing the growl in the distance. That kind of faith humbles me. That kind of faith draws me in. Father, grow that in me. Give me a steady heart when it would be easier to compromise. Give me a clear voice when silence feels safer. Give me courage to remain faithful when circumstances try to shake my conviction, not for the sake of being bold, but for the sake of honoring you. Let my loyalty to you be stronger than my desire to be liked, to be safe, to be in control. Help me walk with integrity even when no one else sees. Help me stay anchored to truth even when it costs me something. When pressure builds, let me lean into you, not away. When accusations rise, let me trust that you know the truth. When the outcome is uncertain, let me cling to what is eternal. This world rewards performance and punishes vulnerability, but you reward the hidden obedience, the quiet trust, the invisible faith that chooses you over comfort. And Father, in the moments when I feel like I am standing alone, remind me that I am not. Remind me that you are in the room, that you are nearer than I feel, that you are the fourth figure in the fire, the still voice in the storm, the strength beneath my shaking hands. You are not watching from a distance. You are walking through it with me. That changes everything. When pressure tempts me to panic, slow me down. When fear tells me to withdraw, pull me close. When the world demands I bow to its noise, help me remember that I answer to a different voice. Yours, and yours is steady, loving, unwavering. Teach me to respond not in reaction, but in trust, not in haste, but in wisdom. Let my posture reflect the peace of someone who knows who fights for them. Father, I know the lions do not always disappear. Sometimes you shut their mouths. Sometimes you let me walk among them, untouched. And sometimes the pain still comes. But no matter the outcome, strengthen me to remain faithful. Let my response be rooted in who you are, not in how things look. I do not want to be swayed by the moment. I want to be anchored in the eternal. I also lift up others who are facing pressure today. Friends who are in courtrooms, in hospital rooms, in boardrooms where decisions carry heavy weight. People fighting battles I cannot see. Those speaking truth in hostile places. Those holding fast when everything tells them to give in. Strengthen them. Remind them they are not alone. Let their faith shine. Even in the dark, let them stand. Not for applause, but for honor. Not to impress, but to obey. Father, if the lions roar louder today, let my prayers grow deeper. If the pressure increases, let my roots stretch wider. If I am tempted to retreat, let your voice remind me of who I am in you. And when the day ends, no matter the outcome, Let it be said that I stood not because I was strong, but because I was held, not because I had all the answers, but because I trusted the one who did. I do not ask for ease. I ask for endurance. I do not ask for safety. I ask for steadfastness. I do not ask for a path without resistance. I ask for a heart that does not flinch. 'Cause pressure will come, lions will roar, but you are faithful, and you have never left your people defenseless. You are the same God who shut the mouths of lions, who walked through fire, who split seas, who speaks peace in the middle of panic. And you are with me now. Let that be enough. Let that steady me. Let that speak louder than the noise around me. Let that keep me faithful today, no matter what comes. Father, in the hush of this unfolding morning, I come again, carrying not only echoes of yesterday's struggles, but the soft remnants of surrender. My soul still trembles from the nearness of your mercy, and I find myself yearning to understand the quiet power that held me together when I was falling apart. Grace, that beautiful, unearned kindness that whispers over the rubble of my failures, gently gathering me in when shame has left me scattered. I do not pretend to grasp its depth, but I feel it subtle, firm, and tender all at once. And today, Father, I want to dwell there, in the gentle strength of your grace. It is not loud, this grace. It does not storm in with declarations or demands. It arrives like morning light slipping beneath the door, making no sound yet changing everything. It does not push, it waits. It does not shame, it lifts. And though it carries the weight of eternity, it lays upon me as softly as a breath. Why then do I resist it? Why do I reach again for perfection? As though grace did not already declare, I am enough, simply because you are. Father, I bring you the places in me that still try to earn what you have already freely given. The restless parts, the comparing parts, the fearful parts that think if I do not perform, I will not be loved. They are tired. And truthfully, so am I. I do not want to strive today. I want to sink into grace not as an excuse for apathy, but as a soil where something real can finally grow. Something not born of anxiety or pressure, but of love rooted deep and watered gently. Grace does not eliminate growth, it just frees me to grow in peace. There is strength in grace that I once mistook for weakness. I thought real strength had to be harsh, loud, unmoved. But your grace has shown me that true strength bends low, meets me in my brokenness, and still calls me beloved. True strength chooses kindness over control. It speaks life where condemnation once stood. It does not just repair what was shattered, it makes something new from it. I never knew that gentleness could carry such power until grace carried me. Father, I ask you to teach me to walk in grace, not only for myself, but toward others, to stop holding people hostage to their worst moments, to speak gently when I could speak sharply, to remember that grace extended multiplies, but grace withheld only poisons the heart. Help me choose to restore rather than accuse, to be quick to forgive, even when pain begs for retaliation. I cannot do that on my own. My nature wants justice. Your nature gives mercy. Shape me into someone who can carry both truth and tenderness in the same breath. Let grace not be a concept, but a reality today. Let it guide the way I speak, the way I think about myself, the way I respond when others disappoint me. Let it interrupt the cycles of shame that still try to play in the background of my mind. When I make mistakes today, remind me I do not fall out of your love. When others do the same, help me respond in ways that reflect your heart, not my wounds. Grace does not excuse sin, but it does redeem it. It does not pretend the wound was not real, but it refuses to let the wound define the whole story. I realize now, Father, that grace is the most courageous thing I can wear. It protects me from bitterness, softens me from pride, and steadies me when everything feels unstable. It is not weakness to depend on it. It is wisdom. For grace does not erase my past, it just removes its power to chain me. It does not deny that I am still growing, it simply refuses to let my failures become my identity. Today, I want to live as someone who has been graced, not just forgiven, but cherished, not just spared, but seen. So, Father, let grace shape my reactions, my rhythms, my relationships. Let it wash over the fear that I am not doing enough or being enough. Let it remind me that I do not carry the weight of proving my worth. You have already spoken the verdict, mine, loved, held, worthy not because of what I bring, but because of who you are. That is grace. Undeserved, unending, and always arriving exactly when I need it most. Even now, as the sky begins to shift toward light, I feel grace in the stillness, not waiting for me to have it all figured out, not demanding that I get everything right today. Just here, holding me with a kind of strength that never wounds, only heals, the kind of strength that never boasts, only blesses, the kind of strength that reminds me again and again that I am safe in you, even when I feel lost to myself. May I remember that grace is not a moment I visit, but a presence I carry. May it be the language of my soul and the posture of my heart. And when this day tests my patience or tempts me to despair, may grace rise up within me like a quiet song that cannot be silenced. For your grace, Father, is not fragile. It is fierce in its gentleness and unshakable in its kindness, and it is mine, not because I earned it, but because you are good, always good, always near, always enough. Dear Heavenly Father, as I sit with the quiet remnants of yesterday's grace still echoing in my heart, I find myself looking inward, not just to reflect but to rebuild, because grace does not just soothe, it awakens. It does not simply heal, it stirs the courage to begin again. And in that stirring, I feel you inviting me, gently but firmly, to start the slow and sacred work of restoration, not of the world around me, but of the fragile world within me. You see, Father, I have spent so long managing appearances, fixing surface-level things, pretending that cracks did not exist. I have learned to function with fractures, to walk with wounded beliefs, to speak from a mouth that does not always match the condition of my soul. But now, after tasting your tenderness again and again, I am no longer content with hollow strength or temporary masks. I do not want to be held together by pressure or performance. I want to be rebuilt by truth. So help me begin not with a hammer, but with honesty. Help me not rush to repair, but pause to examine. Let me see where I have been building on the sands of insecurity. Perfectionism, fear of being unwanted, shine a light on the silent agreements I have made with shame. Uncover the hidden ruins where I buried old parts of myself, believing they were too broken to bring to you. Let this rebuilding be less about restoring who I was and more about becoming who I am when I am fully known and fully loved by you. I want to rebuild with tenderness as my cornerstone. Not toughness, with boundaries that guard my soul, not walls that hide it, with habits that nourish. Not numb, with thoughts that are aligned with your voice, not with the loud echoes of past rejection. Father, teach me to build slowly, to honor the pace of healing, to let each brick be laid with patience and trust. Show me how to clear out the cluttered places inside me that are filled with old lies and stale regrets. Sweep the floors of my inner world and plant peace there instead. I do not want to be a fortress anymore. I want to be a home, a soul with soft light in the windows, a heart that welcomes, not performs, a spirit that is grounded, not guarded. And I know this means letting go of some things I have called strength, but were really just survival. I know it means facing what I have avoided, owning what I have denied, forgiving what I have carried far too long. It means letting you come into the corners I have kept closed off, not because I did not trust you, but because I did not know healing could look like this: quiet, kind, and holy. Rebuilding from the inside out requires surrender, not striving, and some days I still try to impress you with motion instead of letting you meet me in my stillness. But more and more, I am learning that you are not asking for production. You are asking for permission. Permission to enter. Permission to stay. Permission to lead. So today, Father, I give you that. I give you my interior world, messy, uncertain, but available. Help me rebuild with your blueprint, not mine. Replace the inner critic with your voice of kindness. Dismantle the towers of self-protection I have lived in for years. Teach me that wholeness is not the absence of wounds, but the presence of you in the wounds. Help me believe that restoration is not a return to before, but a movement toward better. Let this process be less about fixing and more about forming, less about patching up and more about being reimagined from the ground up. Even now, Father, as I speak these words, I feel your spirit settling over my inner rubble with such gentleness. There is no rush. There is only rhythm. The rhythm of redemption. The rhythm of rebuilding. The rhythm of mercy poured out in the form of quiet progress. So if today only one stone is set right, may I call that holy. If only one lie is uprooted, may I call that a miracle. And if all that happens is I choose not to run from myself, may that be enough. Let me not despise small beginnings or slow repair. Let me see your fingerprints in the places that feel unfinished. Let me trust that what you are building in me is more lasting than anything I could be built for you. For every room of my heart, teach me how to decorate it with grace. For every window I have boarded up in fear, show me how to open it to light. For every door I have closed in self-preservation, whisper that I am safe now, safe with you. And when the outside world pulls me to perform or prove or please, bring me back to this sanctuary within. Remind me that I am not my productivity. I am not my pace. I am not the pressure I have normalized. I am yours. And you are patient with the process of becoming. So if today all I do is take one small step toward rebuilding within, remind me that I have moved closer to truth. Let me speak from the new foundation you are laying, not the scripts I have memorized from a life of self-doubt. Let me choose new rhythms of living that make space for presence over panic, grace over grasping, rest over rigidity. Let my inner world become a quiet garden where your voice is the loudest, where I return again and again, not for escape, but for strength. Father, be the builder of my soul. Be the one who sketches the vision, who carries the burden, who supplies the materials, who stays through every stage of the work. Let me abandon the process when it gets hard or slow or hidden. Show me how to rebuild, not to impress, but to inhabit, not to look whole, but to live whole, not to earn peace, but to be peace. And if others never see the transformation, if they only ever see the same face, the same smile, the same outer form, may I still rejoice knowing that something beautiful is happening deep beneath the surface, that the inner scaffolding of shame is being dismantled, that the silent hallways of regret are being repainted with joy, that the hidden places of fear are being lit by your hope. You are not finished with me, not even close, and so I give you every corner, every crack, every load-bearing wall I have built to protect myself. I give you my past architecture and my future dreams. I give you full access to rebuild me from the inside out. Father, as I continue to open the rooms within me, some still under construction, others just now being touched for the first time, I come to the door that frightens me most. The place where I have waited and heard nothing, where prayers seem to echo back without reply, where my voice is the only one I hear. This is the space of your silence. And though I know you are present, I cannot always feel you. Though I believe you are near, there are mornings when your nearness feels like a memory more than a current embrace. But silence, I am learning, is not the same as absence. And so I come to you not demanding sound, but asking for sight, not for answers, but for presence that steadies me in the stillness. Because silence has a way of exposing what I rely on. It peels away the noise I have mistaken for comfort, the activity I have confused for closeness. In your quiet, I am left with the rawness of my longing and the simplicity of my faith. And I realize now, faith that only functions when it hears is not faith that can hold when it does not. So in this holy hush, I do not ask you to speak louder. I ask for ears that hear differently, for a heart that remembers your whisper, even when the world is screaming doubt. I ask to feel you not in the thunder, but in the pause between the beats, to know that you are still the God who sees me even when you say nothing, that you are still writing even when I can read the next sentence. Father, help me wait well, not with clenched fists and impatient tapping, but with open hands and quiet trust. Let me embrace the silence, not as punishment, but as invitation. Perhaps you are drawing me deeper, not through what you say, but through what you do not. Perhaps you are teaching me how to walk without always watching, how to trust without always touching, how to believe even when belief feels like walking into fog. I confess, there are moments I have mistaken your silence for rejection. I have assumed delay meant denial. I have replayed my mistakes and wondered if I disqualified myself from your voice. But you do not operate like that. You are not transactional with love. You do not use quiet as a weapon or absence as discipline. Your silence is not the end of the conversation. Sometimes, it is the pause that holds the most weight. In the stillness, you are shaping my roots, teaching me to lean on memory, not mood, to anchor my soul in what I know to be true, not just what I feel in the moment. The silence reminds me that my faith was never meant to be performance-based, that even in the void, there is vision, that still waters do not mean nothing is happening, only that the work is deep, not loud. And perhaps that is what you want most from me right now. To remain, to not flinch in the quiet, to not run toward distractions that promise quick answers, but offer shallow peace, to resist filling the gap with noise, and instead let the stillness stretch me. To sit in this unspoken space long enough to learn what silence can teach. Because if you are not speaking in words, maybe you are speaking in the waiting. Maybe you are revealing yourself through time rather than through talk. Father, I surrender my need for constant reassurance. I surrender my tendency to panic when the heavens do not thunder back. Instead, give me the kind of trust that leans without needing proof, that builds its foundation not on frequent confirmations, but on the unshakable truth of who you are even when you are quiet. Let my faith mature beyond the need for signs, into the kind of love that stays even in the dark. Let me remember the times you were silent before, and yet afterward, beauty bloomed. The prayers that felt ignored, but later became breakthroughs. The seasons I thought were abandonment, but were really incubation. Let this silence be sacred. Let it do what only silence can do, strip me of false dependencies and draw me into raw communion. Because in this space, stripped of noise, I find that you are not the absence of sound. You are the presence of steadiness. Teach me to find comfort not in knowing what comes next, but in knowing you are with me in what is now. Let me not just tolerate the silence, but treasure it. Let it remind me that intimacy is not always loud. Sometimes it is just being together, without the need to fill the air. Sometimes love looks like staying close, even when no words are exchanged. And if the silence lingers longer than I want it to, let my worship grow deeper than I imagined it could. Let the stillness be the canvas where trust is painted. Let the emptiness echo with the promise that you are never truly far. That even when you feel hidden, you are working behind the veil. That even in the silence, you are not idle, you are intentional. So today, I won't chase noise for the sake of feeling spiritual. I won't measure your love by how loud you speak. Instead, I will listen for the small movements, the gentle nudges, the sacred pauses. I will look for you in the ordinary, in the breath I take, in the sunrise that comes without my asking, in the way my heart still beats hope even when my mind doubts. Silence has taught me that faith is not fueled by constant answers, but by consistent surrender. That relationship is not always about dialogue, it is also about dwelling. Being, sitting long enough to sense the shift in the atmosphere. Even if nothing outward has changed, you are still here, and that is enough. Father, thank you for being the kind of God who stays, not just when it is easy or exciting, but also when it is still and silent. Help me become that kind of person, too, one who remains, who does not rush away from quiet, who welcomes the unknown not as a threat, but as a threshold, a holy entry into deeper trust. And if today all I hear is silence, let me hear it as a song, a lullaby that reminds me you are closer than breath. Let me carry it not as a burden, but as a blessing, a sign that I am learning to trust what cannot be heard, but can still be known. Let the silence deepen me, not defeat me. Even in the stillness, you are speaking. Father, even when your voice feels quiet, the echoes of what you have already done resound within me. As I sit in the stillness, I realize that remembering is not merely looking back, it is re-entering the places where you moved, spoke, rescued, and restored. It is pulling from the soil of my past the seeds you planted, watching them bloom again in my present doubt. In the silence, memory becomes a form of communion. And today, I remember the moments you carried me when I was too broken to stand, the days I wept quietly, not sure how to form the words, but you heard the tremble in my spirit. I remember the doors you opened that I did not even knock on, the people you sent who spoke life into me without knowing they were angels in disguise. The provision that came just as I whispered the need and fear, the peace that settled in rooms I once filled with panic, and the strength that rose not from my own resolve, but from your endless mercy. In the remembering, I find perspective. The present begins to shrink in its intimidation when held up to the faithfulness of my past. I see that I have walked through valleys darker than this one, and still emerged with light in my eyes. I have faced nights longer than the ones I now dread, and found morning breaking through anyway. If you were faithful then, you are faithful now. You do not change, and that truth, remembered, becomes my refuge. Help me not to forget, Father, because forgetting makes space for fear to rewrite the narrative. Forgetting blurs the face of grace and turns today's challenge into an isolated burden, instead of one more step in a story that has always led me back to you. When I forget, I start to believe the lie that I am alone, that this situation is new, unprecedented, somehow outside the reach of your redemption. But when I remember, I reclaim the thread that ties every season together. You were always there. Let my memory become an altar, a sacred place where I return not just to revisit pain, but to recognize the miracles hidden inside it. Let me revisit the ruins not to relive sorrow, but to rejoice in what rose from the ashes. Let remembering be the way I honor the journey by idolizing the past, but by acknowledging the fingerprints you left all over it. When doubt creeps in, let memory be my defense. When anxiety clouds my vision, let the testimony of what you have done be the lens that clears my view. I do not need a new miracle to know you are good. I just need to remember the ones I have already witnessed. The little ones, tucked inside ordinary days. The unexpected ones, disguised as detours. The painful ones, that later revealed a deeper beauty. Remind me that remembering is not about nostalgia, it is about anchoring. Anchoring my identity in what you have already declared over me. Anchoring my steps in the consistency of your character. Anchoring my heart in the rhythm of your history with me. Because in remembering, I see not just what you did, but who you are. And who you are is more than enough for what I face today. Father, show me how to build habits of remembrance. Let my journal be more than a log of complaints. Let it be a monument of gratitude. Let the pictures on my wall tell stories of deliverance. Let the conversations I have be filled with rehearsals of hope. Help me speak out loud the things I have seen you do, not just to encourage others, but to remind my own soul. Let my memory become a chorus I sing when silence tries to steal my song. And when the present pain is loud, let the remembered peace be louder. Let the same God who parted waters and raised dry bones now part my doubt and resurrect my hope. Let remembering not just comfort me, but compel me to trust again, to pray again, to take one more step forward into the unknown, knowing the God who met me in the past is already waiting in my tomorrow. Teach me how to use memory as a weapon, not a wound, to lift my eyes when I feel buried by circumstance and say, I have seen him move before, and he will not fail me now. Let my remembering dismantle despair. Let it be the bridge between fear and faith. Let it remind me that the silence is not the whole story, but a chapter within a longer one, a story marked by rescue after rescue, mercy after mercy, grace layered upon grace. Help me, Father, to remember well, not just the miracles, but the moments of waiting, the days of aching, the hours of uncertainty, because in those spaces, you taught me how to see, how to love you for who you are, not just for what you do, how to remain rooted even when I could not feel the rain, how to rest in the unseen, knowing that your promises are not fragile words, but living truths that outlast my storms. Let my soul become a living archive of your goodness. Let the memories I carry turn into wisdom I walk in. Let them remind me that I am not starting over. I am moving forward with history on my side, a history marked by your kindness. Even when I could not always trace your hand, a history that makes this morning not the beginning of struggle, but the continuation of grace. And if ever I feel lost again, if ever I wander into silence or confusion or fear, let the power of remembering lead me home. Let it guide me back to your heart. Let it tell me again the story of who I am and whose I am. Let it light the way in darkness and echo truth in the hollow places. Let it become the rhythm my soul walks to, even when nothing else makes sense. Because in remembering, I am rerouted. In remembering, I am restored. In remembering, I see that you have never left. And that, perhaps, is the greatest miracle of all. There are mornings when my heart stirs not from the sound of an alarm or the light of dawn, but from something softer, a whisper, like the quiet nudge of memory waking me before the world does. Father, it is in these moments I feel your voice returning, not loud, not sudden, but like a memory that does not leave, an echo that hums beneath everything, as if you are teaching me that not all of you is in the thunder. Sometimes, you stay in the stillness after the storm, in the remnants of what was once broken but is now sacred. Yesterday I remembered, and that remembering brought me back to you. But today, I linger in what remains, those silent echoes that do not fade when the moment passes, like the way a song leaves its rhythm behind even after it ends, or how the scent of rain stays on the skin even when the sky has cleared. You remain, not always visible, not always audible, but never absent. That is the strange comfort I find now. Not in the certainty of what I can touch, but in the depth of what I cannot deny. I used to crave clarity, Father, like I needed answers spelled out in the sky. I searched for neon signs, for visible hands to steady my feet. But what I find more often now is a different kind of grace, a presence, not explained, just felt. Not declared, just known. It is like recognizing a face in the dark without seeing it fully, yet being sure it is yours. The shape of comfort, the texture of peace, the weightless weight of being loved even when I do not understand why. There are pieces of you scattered in the ordinary, a mug of coffee warming cold hands, a quiet song on the radio, the rhythm of breath steadying after a night of restless thoughts. And in these moments, I see what you have left behind for me to find. The echoes of your goodness stitched into the fabric of my day. I do not always notice them in the moment, but later when I sit in stillness, they rise and remind me that I am not alone. You are the echo in my memory that turns pain into passage, failure into formation, silence into story. You do not erase what hurt me. You make it holy. You do not rewrite the past. You redeem it. There are prayers I whispered in hopelessness that are now songs of resilience. There are nights I begged you to speak, and only now, looking back, do I realize you did through closed doors that protected me, through endings I thought were cruel but were actually kind. Father, help me not only to remember what you have done, but to trust that what you are doing now, even if hidden, is still you. Teach me to sit with what echoes, not demanding that it shout, but learning to lean in until I hear it hum, because sometimes your love speaks in whispers, and the loudest healing begins in silence. I confess there are still parts of me that want you to show up differently. I want you to fix, to solve, to answer in full. But you are not a puzzle to be solved. You are a mystery to be walked with, a song not to be decoded, but to be danced to. And though I do not know the full tune, I am learning to move to its rhythm. There is comfort, Father, in knowing that what echoes can guide me even when my sight fails. I may not see the road ahead, but I can follow the sound of your kindness, the trace of your truth, the pulse of your peace. And maybe that is the point, not to master the map, but to walk with trust, not to possess the full picture, but to carry the frame of your faithfulness. Some days I wake up and the world feels heavy, like grief never clocked out and joy is running late. But then I recall how even in the darkest of valleys, there were moments tiny, almost forgettable, when something broke through, a smile I did not expect, a friend's text at the perfect time, a laugh I thought I had lost. And in those fragments, I find you again, not solving everything, just staying, just echoing. And in that staying, I find myself steadying, like a boat not anchored by sight, but by sound, the sound of mercy, the sound of presence, the sound of something bigger than me refusing to let go. Even when I forget to hold on, I may forget the lyrics of hope some mornings, but the melody finds me anyway. And that melody, Father, is you. So today, let me not run past the echoes. Let me turn to them. Let me sit with what lingers. Let me taste again the remnants of grace, the kind that does not vanish with time, but grows deeper with it. Let me see how every yesterday carries a thread into today, and how nothing is wasted when placed in your hands. You are not just the God of miracles. You are the God of memory. And even when I feel far, you remind me of where we have been, so I can trust where we are going. You remind me that the story has not ended, and the silence is not abandonment. It is just the space where echoes gather strength before they rise again. And if I cannot feel you, let me remember you. If I cannot hear you, let me feel the vibration of what you have already spoken. If I cannot understand you, let me rest in the truth that you are still near, and that nearness is not always proven by volume, but by the echo that stays when everything else has gone quiet. Because you stay, you always stay. Father, I come again into this sacred hush, where my heart leans close to you, still tender from the echoes of remembrance. The grace of yesterday's reflections still stirs within me, but now I stand at the fragile edge of another invitation, not just to remember, but to release. Because memory has its weight, and some remembrances are stitched with pain too deep to carry much longer. You know them, Lord, the names I whisper only in the dark, the moments I replay when no one is watching, the betrayal that blindsided me, the silence that fell where love once spoke, the rejection, the absence, the disappointment. Some wounds are sharp and recent. Others are dull aches I have grown accustomed to carrying. But none are hidden from you. And still, I hesitate, because letting go can feel like surrendering pieces of who I have become. These hurts have shaped me, taught me, protected me in ways even I do not fully understand. They have constructed walls I once needed. They have offered familiar pain where unfamiliar hope seemed too risky. And so, as strange as it sounds, I have clung to them, not because I want to hurt, but because I do not yet know who I am without the hurt. But you know. You see beyond the fortress I have built. You remember who I was before I was bruised, and who I can be if I choose to place these burdens into your hands. You invite me not to forget, but to open my grip, not to erase the past, but to stop letting it define every breath of the present. So here I am, slowly peeling back the fingers I clenched around these wounds. I offer you the sharp words spoken to me, and the sharper ones I spoke in return. I offer you the silence that followed. I place before you the loss, the missed chances, the regrets dressed as memories. I give you the bitterness I could not name, the envy I never wanted, the anger I tried to sanctify. Take them, Lord, not because I have figured out how to let them go perfectly, but because I no longer want them to have the final word. I no longer want pain to be the narrator of my story. And in this release, I ask for more than just relief. I ask for redemption. That somehow, what once scarred me might soften me. That the sting of the past might become the soil for deeper compassion. That what broke me might open me, use my pain, Lord, not as a sentence, but as a sentence end, a period after which a new sentence of grace begins. Teach me, even now, how to live unburdened. Show me how to walk lighter, not because I have ignored the weight, because I have handed it to the one strong enough to carry it. Let my memory become a well of mercy, not a chain of mourning. Help me forgive, not just the ones who hurt me, but the version of myself who did not know better, the one who cupped through fear, who spoke from insecurity, who tried to earn love where it was never freely given. Help me extend to myself the same grace you have extended from the beginning, because some of the deepest healing I need, Lord, is from the wounds I gave myself. As I speak these words, I know this letting go is not a one-time act. It is a daily surrender, 1,000 silent choices, to pause when bitterness rises, to breathe when anger flares, to choose grace when revenge feels easier. It is a rhythm of release, a habit of trust, but I am willing. Father, I may stumble, I may revisit the pain, but I want to walk with open hands. I want to make room for joy, for kindness, for unexpected light. I want to stop rehearsing the darkness and start recognizing the dawn. So as I breathe in this quiet morning, I ask you to meet me here again. In this sacred pause between hurt and healing, touch the places in me I still shield. Speak peace to the corners of my heart I have kept hidden. Remind me that nothing I give up for you is ever lost, only transformed. Let my tears become seeds. Let my scars become testaments. Let my journey through the valley be not proof of how deeply I was wounded, but how deeply I was loved by you in every step. The H that once echoed as absence now becomes a reminder of the nearness you never withheld. Even as I let go of what hurts, let me not lose what it taught me. Let the wisdom remain, the empathy grow, the humility deepen. Help me keep the lessons, not the lashings. The courage, not the chains. Today, I choose release. I choose surrender, not to weakness, but to wisdom, not to fear, but to freedom. And in that freedom, may I find the gentle unfolding of hope, not all at once, not always loud, but steady, like light returning to a room long closed, like breath returning after we would forgotten we were holding it. You are here, Father, always, even in the trembling, even in the letting go, even in the space left behind. waiting to be filled. And I trust that what you fill it with will be more beautiful than what I once grasped so tightly. So I will keep opening. Keep trusting. Keep handing over the hurt. Again and again and again, until healing becomes the new story I tell with every sunrise. Father, as I rise this morning, I bring to you the tender ache that still lingers from yesterday's surrender. Letting go of what hurts did not leave me empty, it left me raw. There is space now, open and vulnerable, where pain once resided. And in that fragile clearing, I feel the quiet whisper of something new stirring. It is not loud, it does not demand, but it breathes. And I believe it is the beginning of a new becoming. I do not always know how to begin again. The world rushes forward, urging me to move on, to pick up speed, to rebuild without pause. But I do not want to construct on top of rubble. I want to wait until I can feel the ground again, until I can stand on something that is no longer shaking. I want my next step to come from a place of peace, not panic. So I come to you first. I place my trembling hope in your hands and ask, not for a blueprint or a loud sign, but for the courage to take one faithful step forward. There is a part of me that fears the new, not because it is unfamiliar, but because I worry I will fail again. I am afraid I will pour my heart into something that will break, that I will trust and be disappointed, that I will hope and be left waiting once more. But even deeper than the fear, there is a hunger small but steady for something good to grow, something rooted in you, not rushed, not forced, just real. Help me, Father, to believe that restoration is not only possible but promised, not in the ways I always expect, but in the quiet, steady rhythm of your presence renewing me from within. I do not need to climb a mountain this morning. I only need the courage to take the next gentle step, to breathe deeper, to unclench my fists, to look around and notice the light slowly returning, to trust that the emptiness I feel is not a void, but a seed bid. If I try to begin again in my own strength, I will likely repeat the cycle of striving and exhaustion. So I ask you to begin in me. Begin where I cannot see. Begin in the corners of my heart still guarded by old wounds. Begin in the thoughts I have not spoken aloud because I was not sure they mattered. Begin in the small routines of my day, the sacred ordinary, where transformation hides in plain sight. Make me brave enough to show up not perfectly, but honestly. Let me not measure this new beginning by outcomes. Let me measure it by the posture of my heart. Am I softer than I was before? Am I more open to grace? Am I willing to listen longer? Judge slower. Forgive quicker and love deeper. If so, then perhaps I am already beginning again, without even realizing it, because renewal often comes not with fanfare, but with the simple decision to keep showing up to life with open eyes and a willing spirit. Father, thank you for not rushing me, for being patient with my process, for sitting with me when I am uncertain and reminding me that presence is more powerful than answers. Thank you for not demanding a performance, but inviting participation. This morning, I accept the invitation not to finish everything or fix what is broken, but to begin again in trust, to walk slowly, held by grace, shaped by hope, and guided by the quiet assurance that you are with me in every breath. Some beginnings look like endings. They come dressed in grief or change or silence. But you are the God who sees through layers. You are not intimidated by what seems barren. You see the bloom waiting beneath. And because of that, I can move forward not in denial of what has been lost, but in honor of what is still possible. I do not want to forget the lessons of the valley, but I refuse to carry the weight of fear into my next season. I want to travel light, to trust more freely, to create again with unguarded hands. If beginning again means risking again, then teach me how to take holy risks, not reckless ones, but those rooted in conviction. Let me be bold enough to believe that goodness is not behind me, but ahead, that you have not run out of grace, that healing is not a one-time event, but a lifelong unfolding, that even if the road winds and the skies shift, your presence will remain my true north. This morning, I choose not to map out the entire journey. I choose to notice what is right in front of me, the breath I am taking, the light coming through the window, the quiet invitation to trust. I choose to honor the stillness before momentum, to find peace not in knowing where I am going, but in knowing who goes with me. You, Father, are my beginning, again and again. So even when I do not feel ready, let my willingness be enough. Let my longing be the seed, and my trust be the soil. Water it with your patience, shine upon it with your presence, and bring forth something that bears your fingerprints, even if it grows slowly, especially if it grows slowly, because slow things often sink the deepest roots. And I want roots that hold, not just fruit that flashes. Teach me to celebrate small starts, to honor quiet shifts, to believe that forward is not always fast and healing is not always loud. Let me look back not with regret, but with gratitude for how far we have already come together. And let me look ahead not with fear, but with sacred anticipation. For if you are in the beginning, then every step is sacred ground. So here I am, Father, with open hands and a hopeful heart, ready not to fix it all, but to begin again with you. Father, I come to you with breath that still trembles from the slow exhale of surrender. The letting go did not end with the pain I finally unclenched. No, it spilled forward, like a gentle current tugging me downstream toward something quieter, something more spacious. And now, in the hush that follows relinquishment, I begin to notice something I could not see before. Not power in the way I used to define it, not the rush of accomplishment or the tightening of control, but a softness stronger than all my striving. This morning, I ask you to teach me the paradox of that softness, the kind that does not break under pressure, but bends, the kind that does not grasp or perform or overcompensate, but simply is. I once believed that to make progress, I had to hustle, prove, strive harder. But that was another mask of fear, was not it? A disguise for the ache of not feeling enough. Now I see the strength in yielding, the courage in being gentle with myself and others. Even when everything in the world screams to push, to win, to race forward, let this day be a quiet revolution within me, a rebellion against the noise of never enough. Let my soul return to its natural rhythm, the one you designed before the world got loud. The one that knows when to act and when to be still, when to speak and when to simply listen, when to push and when to lean back into your everlasting arms. Father, I want to stop running, not in defeat, but in trust, to walk instead, slowly, intentionally, with kind of peace that comes from knowing I am not the one holding the world together. You are. You always have been. And even as I put my hands to the work before me today, let them move from rest, not from restlessness. Let them carry tenderness, not tension. Teach me the strength of kind words, the bravery of quiet presence, the healing power of listening fully without needing to fix or correct in a world obsessed with noise and spectacle. Let me be one who cultivates inner stillness, who carries peace like a lantern into every chaotic room I enter, not because I have mastered calm, because I have learned to stay close to you. You never rush me. Father, you never shame me for being tired. You meet me in my weariness with warmth, not judgment. And in that welcome, I find a different kind of motivation, one born not of proving my worth, but of remembering that I am already yours, that nothing I do today can make you love me more, and nothing I fail to do will make you love me less. Let me rest in that radical truth. Let it dismantle every lie that whispers I must hustle to matter, perform to belong. Let me be grounded not in ambition, but in affection. Let love, not fear, be the source of all my movement today. I think of how often Jesus stepped away from the crowds to pray, not out of obligation, but out of alignment. He knew what it meant to be full before pouring out. He knew how to move from center, not from scarcity. Father, teach me to do the same. Show me how to refill, not from empty cups of validation, but from the deep well of your presence. And when I feel the old voices, return the ones that demand more. Faster, better, let me pause. Let me remember the gentle strength of saying no when yes would cost my peace. Let me value rest as sacred, not as laziness. Let me protect my soul as fiercely as I once protected my schedule. And let me not confuse exhaustion with hollowness. Today, I ask for the courage to go slowly, to savor instead of speed, to notice instead of numb, to feel instead of flee. Give me eyes that linger on beauty, ears that tune into subtle grace, a heart that trusts that slowness is not stagnation, but sacred pacing. Remind me that growth does not always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like roots stretching deeper, unseen, like wounds knitting together quietly in the dark, like a soul finally exhaling after years of holding its breath. Help me not to measure this day by what I accomplish, but by how present I am to the people in front of me, to the whisper of your spirit, to the ache beneath my tasks that needs kindness. Not criticism. Let every action be wrapped in intention. Let every word carry gentleness. Let every step echo grace. Father, where I have been hard on myself, soften me. Where I have been hurried, Slow me. Where I have been harsh, tender me. Where I have been performative, ground me. And where I have felt unseen in my efforts, assure me that you see, you always see. Thank you for this spacious morning, for this invitation to live not driven but drawn toward wholeness, toward simplicity, toward you. I do not want to live at the pace of panic anymore. I want to live at the pace of peace. Let that be my rhythm, my anchor, my compass. And when the world tries to speed me up again, remind me of this still point, this place in your presence where I am known without proving, loved without earning, held without resistance. From here, I can rise not rushed, but rooted. From here, I can love not to impress, but because I am free. From here, I can let others move at their own pace without judgment, because I have learned to honor my own. In this softness, you make me strong, not the brittle kind of strength that breaks under weight, but the flexible kind that bends and holds and breathes, the kind that endures storms not by resisting them, but by leaning into you. So let this day unfold not as a race to win, but as a sacred walk with you beside me. Let me find you not just in the grand moments, but in the small pauses, in the sip of coffee, the breath between sentences, the silence between songs. And let my softness be not a retreat, but a return to the truth that I am safe, I am held, and I am loved beyond the noise of my striving. Father, in the hush of this morning, when the world is still wrapped in a veil of dimness, my heart stirs with a quiet H. The silence stretches long, like a road with no end, and I find myself remembering the shadows of yesterday. The path here was not easy, and though my feet are on solid ground now, the chill of the night lingers in my chest. It is not fear exactly, but something more subtle, an awareness that some nights feel too long, too heavy, too quiet to bear. Yet even in that weight, I recognize your presence. Not loud, not commanding, but steady like the heartbeat that sustains me without demand. In the sleepless hours, when thoughts echo too loudly and peace seems far away, you are there, holding space for me to simply be. I look back now, Father, and I see how you never left. Even in moments when I doubted your nearness, your care was woven through the silence, through the H, through the unspoken longing. There is awareness I carry that words cannot express. It is the kind that does not come from lack of sleep, but from carrying what feels too heavy for too long. Some burdens have become so familiar, I forget they aren't mine to hold. But this morning, I lift them into your hands. I let the silence of dawn become the place where I offer you what I cannot fix, what I cannot understand, and what I cannot carry alone. Father, teach me how to rest without guilt. Show me how to trust that even when I am not moving, not striving, not fixing, I am still loved, still held, still whole. Let the endless night remind me that morning always comes not because I earn it, not because I command it, but because you are faithful and the sun still rises by your will. Let me believe in that kind of hope again, the kind that is not dependent on my performance or productivity, but on your goodness alone. In these quiet hours, where the world has not yet pulled me into its noise, I find the courage to be honest with you. I do not have to perform here. I do not need the right words. I do not need to make sense of my confusion or map out a plan to escape my sorrow. I only need to be here, breathing, trusting that my presence is enough, that you are listening, that you delight in me even in my uncertainty. There are parts of my story that still sting, memories that I tuck away when the world is watching. But here, before you, I can unfold them. I can name them. I can allow myself to feel what I have tried so hard to suppress, because you are not afraid of my pain. You do not shame my weakness. You do not rush me through my grief. You sit with me, patiently, lovingly, until I am ready to stand again. And even then, you never stop holding me. Father, I thank you for being the one who sees through the performance, who looks past the masks and loves the parts of me find hardest to accept. In this space, I do not have to be strong. I do not have to be wise. I do not have to be okay. I just have to be willing to let you in. Let this morning be the place where I stop pretending, where I take off the armor I wear to face the world, and let myself be vulnerable in your presence. Let it be a sacred place of undoing, not to be destroyed, but to be remade. Let the breaking be holy. Let the softness be strength. Let the pause be powerful. When I look around and the world feels rushed, competitive, and unkind, anchor me in the truth that I am not forgotten, that slow is not failure, that quiet is not emptiness, that what you are doing in me cannot be measured by speed or scale. Remind me that hidden growth is still growth, that transformation often happens in the dark, beneath the surface. Without applause, that roots grow deep before the blossom ever shows. In the quiet, let me learn the language of stillness. Let me become fluent in trust. Let me be okay with not knowing what is next. Let me find joy not just in the sunrise, but in the waiting for it. Let my heart settle into the rhythm of your grace, a rhythm that is never rushed, never forced, but always perfectly timed. Father, when I feel the urge to run ahead, to fix, to perform, to hide my pain, remind me that I am safest when I slow down and stay close to you, that healing does not require a plan. Only surrender, that peace is not the absence of chaos, but the awareness of your nearness in the midst of it. Help me see the beauty of this in between the space after the night, but before the light fully breaks through. The space where trust is formed, where faith grows roots, where love shows up in the form of presence more than answers. Let this moment teach me that I do not have to be anywhere else but here, that here is holy, that here is enough. And when the world starts spinning again, when people pull at me, when expectations whisper their demands, help me carry this stillness with me. Let it be the undercurrent to every word I speak, every step I take. Let it be the reminder that I am not alone, not behind, not too broken to be used by you. Today, I will walk forward not with certainty, but with trust. I will speak not with control, but with honesty. I will rest not because I earned it, but because you invite me to. I will forgive myself for not being everything to everyone. I will find peace in knowing I am already fully loved as I am. And if the night lingers a little longer tomorrow, if silence stretches again, I will remember this moment. I will return to this stillness. I will let it teach me again how to breathe, how to trust, how to wait without fear. Because you, Father, are in the waiting. You are in the hush. You are in the stretch between question and answer, between ache and healing, between longing and fulfillment. You are not just the God of breakthrough. You are the God who sits beside me when the breakthrough has not come. Let that be enough for today. Father, as I exhale the remnants of another long night, I find myself returning to the quiet center where you last met me. The memory of stillness from yesterday's dawn has not faded. It has folded itself into the fabric of my being like a gentle thread, unnoticeable at first, but now unmistakable in its quiet strength. It taught me something I did not expect to learn, that even when the answers do not arrive, even when the light is faint and the road unclear, presence itself can hold me together. Your presence, yes, but also the sacred practice of mine. I have spent so much of my life reaching, striving, running towards some future version of peace, joy, or clarity, believing I would only be whole once I arrived at the next thing. But today, something deeper settles in me, a quiet truth that whispers, what if the next thing is simply this? What if now is not a stepping stone to some better moment, but the place where heaven leans low and meets me as I am? You have not rushed me, Father. You have not pushed me through the darkness or demanded a pace that outruns my heart. Instead, you have invited me to stay, to remain, to notice, and that invitation has changed everything. It has softened the urgency, eased the pressure, and opened up space for me to breathe. Staying present is not always easy. It often feels like the harder path, especially when distractions promise numbness and escape. The pain of presence can be sharp, like a light too bright in a room too long dark. But it is in that light, uncomfortable and revealing as it is, that healing begins. And even more than healing, communion. Because it is only here, in this moment, not the imagined future or the remembered past, that I can touch the hem of your peace. You have shown me, Father, that you are not waiting for me somewhere down the road. You are not keeping score of my delays or failures to arrive. You are here, in the pause between thoughts, in the hush between breaths, in the sacredness of now. And if I miss you here, I will miss you everywhere. So I choose to stay, to be awake to this moment, even if it is messy, even if it is mundane. I will not numb myself with distraction. I will not bypass what hurts by pretending it does not matter. I will meet myself where I am, because that is exactly where you already are. There is a kind of strength, Father, that is not born of resistance or achievement, but of awareness. The strength to sit with my sorrow without needing to solve it. The strength to rejoice in small goodness without needing to explain it away. The strength to be human in a world that demands performance and perfection. You are growing that strength in me, slowly and quietly, like roots that deepen in still soil. Help me hold sacred the little things today, the warmth of the mug in my hand, the sound of my breath in the morning air, the light slipping through the cracks in the curtain. Let these be enough to remind me that life is not waiting to begin. It is already unfolding. When fear pulls my thoughts ahead to what might go wrong, or regret drags me backward to what I should have done, bring me back gently, not with shame, but with compassion. Let your presence be the anchor that steadies me in the currents of my mind. Remind me that I do not have to solve the day all at once. I only need to show up for the moment in front of me, and then the next, and then the next. Teach me how to listen, not just to others, but to the quiet voice inside that I so often overlook. The one that does not shout but speaks truthfully. The one you have planted deep in my being. The one that says I am enough, that I am not lost, that I am already home in your love. Help me resist the temptation to measure today's value by what I accomplish. Let me measure instead by how fully I live into the moment, how kindly I speak, how deeply I notice, how willingly I pause. Let stillness become a doorway, not a delay. Let presence become prayer. Father, I do not want to spend my life waiting for some perfect alignment of circumstances before I decide to live with intention and love. I want to live like today matters, like you are here, because you are. And if you are here, then this moment is holy ground. Show me how to honor the people I meet today, not as tasks to manage or interruptions to endure, but as fellow travelers carrying burdens I may not see. Let me slow down enough to look them in the eye, to truly hear them, to be a mirror of grace. Let my presence be a gift, not because I have all the right words or solutions, but because I have learned how to stay with them in the moment. Because I have practiced staying with myself. And when I find myself drifting, help me return without judgment. When I slip into autopilot or anxiety, let me return to the breath, to the stillness, to you. Let my life be a rhythm of returning a gentle loop that always brings me back to love, back to now, back to you. Even in the business that surely awaits, let me hold this presence within me. Let it shape the way I answer the phone, the way I wash the dishes, the way I move through rooms and tasks and conversations. Let it be the unseen melody behind everything I do. Because if I can stay present in those moments, I can stay present in all of life. And if I can stay present with you, I will never truly be lost. Father, I thank you for the gift of this breath, this heartbeat, this sunrise. I thank you for teaching me that nothing is too small to be sacred, nothing too ordinary to be filled with you. Let this awareness stay with me long after the morning fades. Let it rise with me like light from within. Let it grow roots that steady me when the winds come. Let it become the way I live, not just the way I pray. Today, I will not chase peace. I will choose it. I will not wait for life to quiet down before I listen. I will listen now. I will not wait to feel ready to begin again. I will begin here. Because this is where you are. Father, as I sit with the quiet of this morning, something deeper than words begins to stir within me. Is not urgency or certainty, not a solution or a final answer. It is something more tender, a hush, a presence, a breath that does not hurry. It does not come with fanfare or finality. It simply arrives, like sunlight slipping through leaves, like dew resting on petals, like the soft hush before a new day begins. This prayer has never been about reaching the end. It has never been about checking a box or finishing strong. It has always been about returning, about waking up again and again to the God who was never gone. And so as I find myself here, at the edge of what feels like a conclusion, I realize this is not the end at all. It is simply another beginning, another chance to say yes to being fully alive, to open my eyes to grace in places I had overlooked, to lean in with wonder instead of fear. You have never asked for perfection from me. You have asked for presence, not a rehearsed faith, but a real one that limps and falters and still believes, one that prays not because it always knows what to say, but because it dares to keep speaking from the middle of the mystery. And I have learned over and over that you are not waiting for me at the finish line. You are here, walking beside me in the silence between questions, holding the fragile parts I thought I had to hide, meeting me where I am, not where I pretend to be. Each chapter, each whisper, each word has been an offering, not just to you, but to the parts of me that needed to be reminded that I am held, that I am seen, that even in the stillness, even in the pauses, you are working something holy, something whole. I have searched for you in so many places, in the loud, in the light, in the certainty. But you have revealed yourself in the shadows too, in the waiting, in the breaking, in the letting go. You have spoken in the silence. You have answered in the H. And somehow, in ways I cannot explain, I am more alive now than when I first began this journey. Not because life has become easier, or the questions fewer, but because I have stopped needing to understand everything before I choose to trust. I have stopped waiting for things to make sense before I open my heart. I have started believing that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of something greater within it. Something like hope, something like you. There were mornings I came to this space with nothing but tears. Other days, with laughter that surprised even me. Sometimes I brought confusion. Sometimes gratitude. But each time, you received me the same way. With openness, with quiet delight, with the kind of grace that does not require explanation. I have discovered that faith does not always feel like courage. Sometimes it feels like simply showing up, like whispering when you do not have strength to shout, like breathing deeply when everything feels too much, like trusting that the same God who formed stars also knows how to hold me together. Even now, I do not need to wrap this up neatly. I do not need to end with certainty or answers. I only need to rest in the truth that you are not finished with me, that what you have begun will keep unfolding, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet corners of ordinary life, in the conversations I almost miss, in the choices made when no one is watching, in the way I return again and again to love, to grace, to presence. Today is not the final note of a song. It is a rest between measures. It is a breath before the next line. The melody continues. The rhythm steadies. And I, once more, place my feet upon this sacred ground called now. Father, thank you for walking this far with me, for not letting me journey alone, for being a companion when I was tired, a light when I was lost, a refuge when I was undone. You have not always given me what I asked for, but you have always given me what I needed. Sometimes that was silence. Sometimes that was surrender. Sometimes that was joy I did not expect. I no longer come to prayer looking for answers. I come to remember, to realign, to breathe, and most of all, to be here, to be held, to be known. And that, I have found, is more than enough. So as this prayer draws to a close, I do not leave it behind. I carry it with me, not as words, but as posture, as a way of moving through the world with tenderness, as a quiet readiness to see you in everything, in the interruptions, in the ordinary, in the beauty that catches me off guard. Let my life itself become a prayer. Let my daily rhythms sing of your faithfulness. Let my laughter echo your joy. Let my tears water the soil where new hope grows. Let my silence not be absence but listening. Let my rest be an act of trust. There will be days ahead that stretch me, days that blur the lines. But I have this anchor now, this knowing that I am not alone in the unfolding, that nothing is wasted, that each step, even the small ones, are wrapped in grace. And when I forget, when I grow weary, I will return to the breath, to the stillness, to the love that never left, to the quiet invitation that says, come. Rest a while. Come, be with me. So to those who have walked this journey beside me, thank you for lending your ears to my honesty, your heart to these quiet offerings. You are not alone either. May these words live on in you, not just as memory, but as movement, as courage, as renewal. If this prayer has stirred something true in you, let it grow. Share it with others who are still searching for light in the shadows. Let us become a circle of morning prayers, scattered yet connected, each one whispering hope into the dark. And if you feel led, leave your own prayer below, your own H, your own wonder. There is space for you here. Your story matters. Your voice belongs. And if this has been a balm to you in your own mornings, I invite you to stay close, to continue walking with us. Subscribe to this channel. Share it with those who need a quiet place to breathe. Let this space become a sanctuary for the soul, a place where grace flows like morning light, where faith unfolds gently, where love always returns. Now, as the sky begins to brighten and the world leans into the hush of a new day, may you step forward not with certainty, but with softness, with courage that whispers instead of shouts, with a heart wide open to the holy in the here and now. Like the first light touching the edge of the water, like the breeze brushing across quiet hills, like a stream winding its way through a waking valley, let this prayer linger not as an ending, but as a beginning that never truly ends.